Here we go. 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 This is it.
This is Top Flight Time Machine. My name is Andy Dawson.
My name's Sam Delaney.
This is the second time we've started this episode because Sam got distracted, didn't you, Sam?
Yeah.
By something you saw on the internet.
Yeah, I was looking at the internet. There's some fucking mad stuff on there,
Is
mate.
there? Where's it at? Theinternet.com?
Yeah, there's this thing, like, there's a baby laughing, like, but hysterically. I mean, I've never seen anything so funny. Right, there's a monkey nicks a lollipop, and then there's these two girls shitting in a cup.
Oh, and that's it.
That's as far as I've
top
got.
3.
I don't know if there's much more, but that's what I've seen so far.
Feels
and
like enough.
if you've got a few hours to kill, and you've got an internet connection,
right, through your telephone,
which is like, it's basically a phone line, then yeah, give it a go. Okay,
we're here for Roy Keane, and it's part 5, I think, of the Keane Odyssey. It was going to be 2 parts originally. Now we're at part 5. We think it might end on part 6. We're not sure. We'll see how it goes. And
what's the vibe with our listeners, Andy? Do they want more, or do they want us to go back to reviewing the old seasons?
Some of them want more. Some of them seem to think that we've strayed from our original remit, which was to cover Premier League seasons one at a time in a 26-part series, which would then end, and we'd never be heard of again afterwards. But obviously, the minor success that we've had with this has gone to our heads. Our egos have swollen. And we're doing 3 of these a week, and we can't give a shit.
It's like that bloke on Waitrose magazine. You know, 1 minute he's editing a magazine about fucking hummus, right? Next thing you know, he's on MasterChef. It's gone to his head, and he's literally threatening to kill people.
Threatening to kill vegans.
And then he loses his job. And, you know, he sailed too close to the sun.
He was Icarus.
And he sailed too close to the sun, and that's what's happening to us.
That could be what we are.
Why will we not learn our lessons from the editor of Waitrose magazine?
The Icarus
ghastly experience.
Of podcasts. Indeed. Right, anyway, back to Roy Keane. He's just left Sunderland in the last episode that we did, and he quickly found himself some more work at Ipswich Town, where I think Ipswich probably thought that he could replicate what he'd done at Sunderland, which was to turn them around in the Championship, get them promoted, get them stabilised in the Premier League.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad idea at the time. Didn't seem like a bad idea, did it?
He had the blueprint for being able to do that. You would think he would be able to replicate that again at Ipswich, but it didn't work for him. And we'll find out why. And it seems to be mainly about the fact that Ipswich dress in blue.
Right.
And he just didn't connect with that at all.
You couldn't see the point. I've never seen the point in that colour.
He says, a few days later after getting the job, I was down there in the blue training kit, and I was looking at it going, fucking hell. I didn't feel the excitement I felt going up to Sunderland. I'm not sure why not, but I didn't. I feel bad even admitting that. Tony Loughlin, his sidekick, was with me again, but it didn't have that innocence. Oh, it's exciting. Maybe after the Sunderland experience I was a bit wary. There seemed to be a bit of everything about it that wasn't quite right. The setup, my mindset, the location. But if things had gone better, I probably wouldn't be thinking that.
You know, I'd had to say goodbye to Sebastian and Julian from up in the digs in Durham, and looking back, they had such a big influence on me worldview, the way I interpreted things all around me, that they were as responsible as anyone for the success I had in the early days at Sunderland. I asked them about moving to Ipswich. They weren't interested.
The courses they were on weren't available at the University of Suffolk.
I said, what about doing a master's course at the University of Ipswich? They weren't interested. Fuck them, I thought. I can do this alone. But ultimately, I was wrong. I needed them.
I was going to leave them £40 in an envelope for the key meter for the gas and electricity because autumn was setting in, and I didn't want to leave them in the lurch. But there you go. You can't take your friends with you. You can't go back. So he's gone to Ipswich, and basically he doesn't like the blue kit. This reminds me of Roy the Rovers when Roy left Melchester Rovers controversially, and he signed for Walford Rovers for a year, and they played in blue, and it was never right. And then after one season, he went back to Melchester in their red, and I think that's probably going through.
For a whole year's worth of the comic, was he playing at a different club?
That's how I remember it.
I don't remember it myself, but I'm now going to go back through my archives.
This was before it got ridiculous.
Right,
and like Spandau Ballet and Shakin' Stevens turned up. No, Shakin' Stevens was Billy the Fish, wasn't he? That was the parody of it.
The Spandau Ballet turned up. In Roy and the Rovers is when he develops a drink problem, but really quickly, and they start drawing stubble onto his face to show that he's got a problem. I think his missus fucks up. I mean, it happens. 1 minute he's just looking at a bottle of whiskey. The next minute he's sort of slumped over a table, and they've drawn lines on his face to represent
that
stubble.
Represents a drinker.
And his missus and little Roy Jr. are fucked off. They've got a hold on. They're going round their mums, and it's like you've got a fucking poison. I think.
Yeah.
Was it Blackie?
Blackie Gray was his best mate,
I think Blackie Gray comes around and goes, Roy, you have got to pull yourself together, mate. And then he just does, and that's over. The alcoholism is fixed.
I'm sensing a series of Roy and the Rovers podcasts coming soon.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
We'll get a bunch of issues and go through them.
This is it!
Yeah, Roy says there were stories that when I took over, fans weren't allowed into the training ground and that I'd changed the locks. Our first session was open to the fans, but nobody came. My first day, you'd have thought a couple of school kids would have been dragged in by a dad or a granddad, but there wasn't one person watching.
Oh, I knew right away this wasn't the place for me. Well, I thought to myself, welcome to hell.
I saw myself on the training ground as an entertainer. It wasn't just about knocking the players into shape and getting tactics into their heads and all of that. It was about showing off for any strangers that wanted to come along and have a look.
Yeah, some of the wee kids would come. I'd do my kick-ups, Yeah. I'd do the headers, I'd do it off my knee, I could even do it off my shoulder from time to time. I'd been practising specially, but it was all for nothing, because no one was there to watch.
I'd been watching some of that street football on YouTube, and I could do one of them things where you put it behind your feet, but then you do like a little donkey kick and it goes up over your head and lands on your shoulder, and then you flip it off and it goes onto your other shoulder. I'd mastered that quite quickly.
I practised for fucking hours in my back garden.
I thought this was what the strangers of Ipswich would probably wanted to see.
It was all a fucking waste of time.
Incidentally, someone on Twitter said that my Roy Keane accent sounds like Jamaican. That's bollocks, isn't it?
Let me
I mean, it's clearly not Irish.
There's been a couple of remarks about our Roy Keane impressions on Twitter, so let me put this to bed once and for all right now and tell you all. Andy and I are exceptional mimics, and any accent or impersonation we do of anyone is a 10 out of 10 at worst. So if you're jealous because we are brilliant impersonators who could easily be on Dead Ringers if we wanted to, but we don't want to because we're too busy.
Yeah, doing 3 podcasts.
And also the comedy's not edgy enough for us.
Yeah.
Right? Then, just go take your business elsewhere.
Do your own podcast with your Irish accents on, but don't do Roy Keane, because we've done Roy Keane. You'll have to do Roy Walker. Do Roy Walker instead. Do a podcast about episodes of Catchphrase that you found on YouTube. Let's hear your Roy Walker and then send it to us and we'll start fucking judging you. Yeah. We've had voice coaches approach us. A very, very famous voice coach approached us this week wanting us to go in and do a seminar, or maybe if we can't actually go in, do a webinar over the internet about mastering the Irish accent. Do you know who that voice coach was?
Who?
Kenny Sansom.
Kenny Sansom?
Yeah, shh. Don't tell him.
Kenny Sansom was the one who... Oh, sorry, I've given it away. He coached Daniel Day-Lewis for his role in Gangs of New York.
Yeah.
You know when he does that weird sort of kind of Irish-American, sort of weird, oldie-timey American accent? Kenny Sansom taught him that.
Yeah, that's peak Sansom, that, isn't it? Yeah, of course it is.
He also coached Daniel Day-Lewis for There Will Be Blood. You know, when he says, I'm an oil man. I drink their milkshake.
You have a milkshake, and I have a straw.
Yeah.
I will drink your milkshake.
When he first did that, because you can see the audition tapes on... you can see the audition tapes on YouTube. And Daniel Day-Lewis goes, yeah, I thought I'd give it something like this. Yeah, I've seen you got a milkshake. I'm going to have a bit of that. Right, and then Sansom...
Hand it over.
Sansom, you don't see Sansom, but you can hear him because he's sat behind the camera. He goes, I was thinking something maybe a bit more like this, Daniel. I drink their milkshake.
I drink it up.
Try it like that, mate. And then the rest is history.
You got a milkshake. I can't see your milkshake. Can you pass it over?
Sansom's like,
No,
that's
Daniel.
fucking shit, Daniel. Do it again.
And it took 3 months.
Wouldn't let him eat, wouldn't let him drink,
That
wouldn't
took
let him
3
sleep
months.
till he
Starved him
mastered
for
it.
3 months till he got it right.
That's the Sansom way.
Totally is. Back to Roy Keane. On the training ground, he says, there was the blue training kit. I don't like fucking blue. I don't like fucking blue. City were blue. Rangers were blue. My biggest rivals were blue. Is that childish? Little bit, Roy.
Maybe.
Little bit.
And also, were you not aware before you signed the contract that Ipswich played in blue?
Yeah.
I'd never heard of the team before in my life. I'd never seen them play. I didn't know what they looked like. To be honest, when they first approached me, I doubted whether or not it was fucking real. I thought it was another prank call. I thought it was fucking Yaffle on the phone, making up fucking pretend football clubs to try and trick me.
He said, Ipswich. I thought, Ipswich, I heard of that. That's the city from EastEnders, isn't it? Okay, Yaffle, I'll go along with this. We'll see how far this goes. I'd love to sign for Ipswich, I said, to what I thought was Professor Yaffle down the phone.
I indulged him. You know, I thought I'll turn the joke back around on him and see how much he likes it.
Let's see how far we can take this, Yaffle.
Before I realised it
with
wasn't Yaffle, it was David Sheepshanks. I was fucked. I was already in too deep. The
I'd
lawyers had signed the
fucking
contract on my
and
behalf.
everything.
Maybe he thought he could join and get them to change the colour of the kit. First thing you
Like
need to
the
do
Cardiff City
is
chairman
change.
Vincent Tan did,
Yeah.
didn't he? Changed Cardiff to red.
First thing you need to do is change this kit to red and white stripes with black shorts.
And you got to change
just
it,
like Sunderland.
Change the name of the club to Sunderland. Or maybe it's called Sunderland 2, the sequel.
They refused, but that was when they were small-minded people.
I knew they'd give it
Short-sighted.
eventually. They refused at first, but I knew eventually I'd wear them down. Turned out I couldn't wear them down.
And that why ultimately is why I failed. It was their fault.
He says, the first day myself and Tony Laughlin went back to my office for a cup of tea, it was a cabin, like a school prefab. I'm not knocking that. It's man of the people. Comes from Cork. But I just thought it all needed freshening up, a lick of paint. There were money difficulties at the club. I appreciate that. But myself and Tony sat down and looked at each other. Welcome to hell, we both said.
No.
Well, maybe they did. I don't know. So there's the first day open training session, but no one comes along now. He hates the blue kit. The place isn't decorated to his liking. Fucking hell. Marcus Evans was the chairman. He says the last game of the season was at home to Coventry. Marcus Evans told me during the week they'd already covered my contract with season ticket sales for the next season. Roy, I have wonderful news. Next season, Ipswich Town will continue to exist as it has done this season. Season ticket sales are up. Thanks to your presence, everything is covered, and we will be commencing the next season with everything looking shipshape. He says it was a dead rubber game. There was nothing at stake, but there were 20,000 people there. So he must have got the job towards the end of... I think, was it Paul Jewell, or Paul Jewell took over from... I don't know who it was
Jewell
before.
took over.
Let's say John Lyle.
Yeah.
Let's say it was John Lyle.
Yeah, it wasn't, but yeah.
Of course it wasn't.
Tony Mowbray.
Why not?
Yeah.
We'll call it Tony Mowbray. So he took over at the end of the season. All the season ticket sales are coming for the following season. Marcus Evans is as happy as a pig in shit.
Yeah.
There's 20,000 people there. He says, Roy says, we won again and we deserve to. I was thinking, we don't have to do too much here. I'll focus on the dressing rooms. Get them decorated.
Yeah, right move.
So he's had a look. They've beaten whoever it was. Coventry, I think he said.
Yeah.
End of the season, everyone's got their tails up and their heads up. And Roy thinks there's not much to do with this team. It's going to take care of itself.
Easy peasy.
Time to get some paint out and decorate the dressing rooms. Put the Roy Keane stamp
I got
on them.
myself up to fucking home base. I got the rollers. I got the paint brushes. I got the white spirit.
I got my dad over from Cork because if you go on a Wednesday, the OAPs get 25% off.
He was very ill, but I didn't care. I said, "You get yourself over here for fuck's sake. Stop fucking moaning."
So we went up to home base and we got kitted out. We got some of that Leyland paint. That's the best stuff. We can buy that in bulk. It's not the cheapest, but it's also not the dearest. But pound for pound, I think it's the best you can get. That's what one of the students told me for when he'd been decorating his digs.
I caught that Sebastian one time sniffing on the old white spirit. I said, "What the fuck are you doing? That's for washing your hands after you've been painting the walls." He said, "Give it a sniff, Roy.
You
Makes
like
you
it."
feel all queer." He was fucking right. I gave it. I sniffed it like he told me. I don't know what happened for the next 2 days of my life. Once I got to Ipswich, I made a decision. I won't be sniffing it again.
For legal reasons, we should point out at this juncture that we do not accuse Roy Keane of ever sniffing white spirit.
No.
It's something he's never
And
done.
nor should you.
It's something that Sam just chose to do there as a comic fantasy.
Bit of fun.
It has never happened, and it will never
It's just
happen.
a bit of fun.
Fuck's sake, Roy. Call off the dogs.
Jalapeño.
So then he says, when the players came back pre-season, they found great dressing rooms, but I hadn't done enough with the team or the staff.
Roy. Oh, Roy.
He's not taking it seriously,
No,
is he?
he's not.
He came to Sunderland and he bought 6 players in 6 hours.
Yeah.
At Ipswich-
That's fucking going in like a bullet.
At Ipswich, he's been out fucking looking at wallpaper
He's
and
been
fucking...
up a fucking home base.
He's getting wallpaper sample books, taking
Yeah.
them home and looking through them all for the dressing rooms. I got a nice flock wallpaper, the kind you used to get in the Indian restaurants back into 1980s. I thought it was very evocative. I thought the swirly patterns would help the lads focus.
I was wrong. If anything, it did the opposite. It confused them. I realised these lads weren't at the right level for me to be showing them patterns like that.
Tony Laughlin thought that we should start serving them curries before the kick-off, but I thought that was a step too far.
One step at a time, Tony, I said.
Maybe just some poppadoms.
Few chutneys. Wait till we're back in the Premier League before you start thinking of samosas.
We'll give have a naan bread at half time if they're winning as a reward. Then it got interesting. A bit of pre-season fun. They had a night out in the woods with the Paras, with the 7th Parachute Regiment Royal Horse Artillery, no less.
Because he thought it would be bonding for
Character
them, did he?
building, innit?
Yeah.
I reckon that sort of thing. He's really on. He's not really trying at all, is he?
No. Well, I mean, it's a big thing to organise, but whether or not he thinks it's just for show, so he can say to his boss, the chairman, look, I've sorted out this.
I've come up with this.
But whether or not he is convinced it's going to make a big impact on a team that, by his own ambition, were already doing all right.
Yeah. I'm a good friend of Chris Ryan, the SAS fella, so I thought I'd pull some strings there. So he says that the plan was we'd stay in tents that night out in some woods after a series of marches. Not just one march, a series of marches.
Fucking hell.
OK, lads, march number 7.
This is the best march yet.
The intense part was in the evening. The intense part. Oh,
Fucking hell.
We've done 7 marches. And
Sounds like a fucking nightmare.
we've done 7 marches and now it's going to get intense, lads. The Paras are trained to live off the land, so we saw them slaughtering a pig. We had to watch. It wasn't nice. Gather around, lads. Watch this.
Your
This
man's
is going
going
to
to
change your
kill a
life.
pig. Look at this pig. The pig had been marching with us for the last 4 hours. We'd got to know it. Some of the lads had given it a name. They called it Porky. Everyone loved that pig.
It was our squad pig then.
Then all of a sudden, one of the soldiers turns round and says, lads, gather round. Have a look at this.
Time for the pig to die.
Paul's had a wee butter knife. Blunt it was. Wasn't pretty. The death. Let's just say Porky didn't die quickly.
At 3 o'clock in the morning, they cooked the pig.
Oh, God.
They cooked the pig and we ate it, but the lads were cold. You're out of your environment and you just want to sleep. Oh, fucking hell.
You're out of your comfort zone, aren't you? If you're out freezing cold on the moors or whatever it was, and you've just killed a pig and then cooked it,
Yeah.
I don't care. I
With a
mean,
butter knife.
Roy Keane is one of the hardest men in the history.
He's out-Keaning himself
Yeah,
here.
and he's like, no, it's not for
It's
him.
overcompensation, isn't it?
Yeah.
He knows this job's not for him. So he's just over-Keaning
I
the
tell you what,
situation.
I mean, it turned my stomach. I just kept thinking, imagine if Gary Neville had been here. He'd been crying his wee eyes out.
He'd have had a nervous breakdown and no mistake.
Both the Nevilles would have shot their wee nappies.
As I watched that pig die, I found myself thinking of my old swivel chair at Sunderland and the phone with the button with the lines on. I thought, where did it all go wrong?
I thought to myself, I didn't know how good I had it.
Well, that
It's like Sting said, if you love someone, set them free. If they come back to you, they're yours. If they don't, they never were. That's what I thought about that pig.
Having said that, it was delicious. But I definitely do it again. And then the next morning, I asked one of the officers to organise something for the morning to get the lads up and out quickly. So at 5 or 6 in the morning, they woke us with stun grenades.
Oh, fucking hell.
Stun grenades thrown to the sides of the tents.
Fuck me, this is appalling.
This is inhumane. Amnesty International should have been onto this.
I'd lose my shit. I wouldn't care. I'd go, look, this is not on. I'm fucking leaving. I've got better things to be doing.
Jesus Christ. It's like you're with us or you're against us, isn't it? Fucking hell. You're either in the tent pissing out, or you're outside the tent pissing in, where in fact they were all in their tents pissing and shitting themselves with fear.
Getting fucking stun grenades thrown
bouncing
at
off
them.
the side of the tent. He says, that woke us up.
I wonder what Roy's reaction was when that. Fuck's sake! What the fuck? Yaffle! It's Yaffle! Everyone get down! Everyone get down! It's Yaffle, he's here, and he's got the mice with him too. I knew he'd come for me in the end.
I knew this was going to happen. I didn't think it would be now when all the soldiers was around. But I knew it would come.
Yaffle, I'm here. I'm going to come up with my hands held up. Uh-oh. But don't take it out on any of the lads. This is between me and you. Leave them be.
Take me back to the workshop. Tie me up if you need to. Interrogate me. I won't speak.
Leave the lads alone, though. Now I'm coming out very slowly. I keep my hands where you can see them at all times.
Have you got Bagpuss with you? Is Emily there? Can we negotiate? Can I talk to Emily?
Okay, I admit it. You bested me this time, Yaffle. Okay, you're happy now. You've won. Okay, you crept up on me. You out-taught me. You out-manoeuvred me.
You've tied up and killed all the paras. And you've eaten what was left of the pig. And now you come for me.
I'm going to come out. I know the scenes that I'm going to see when I come out the tent are not going to be pretty. They're going to be several members of Her Majesty's Armed Services lying there with their throats slit. I know what I'm going to see, Yaffle. I know you well.
With their throats pecked repeatedly.
I sometimes
with the pointy wooden nose.
I sometimes think I know you better than you know yourself, Yaffle.
I thought to myself, welcome to hell.
I thought to myself, a stun grenade went off at 5 a.m. in the morning. I opened my eyes and whispered one word to myself, Yaffle. He's back, I thought. I should have seen this coming, but I've been too focused on redecorating the changing rooms. I'd taken my eye off the ball.
I let my guard down. I tried to get inside Yaffle's head. Over in that workshop, he was restoring toys and making things that were old into new, making things that were bad into good. I thought I could do a bit of that myself and make the changing rooms in Ipswich all shiny and bright and beautiful, just like Bagpuss did, just like Yaffle did.
But while I was thinking about that,
you can't get inside the mind like that.
Yaffle was regrouping. He was making himself stronger. He was thinking about me.
He'd gone to the next level. He'd gone and got some fucking stun grenades.
He knew it. He told me he'd find me wherever I went. I thought by going to Ipswich, a place that most people thought wasn't even real, he wouldn't get me. But of course he did. He'd always been there watching in the shadows wherever I'd gone.
He says, so at 5 or 6 in the morning they woke us with stun grenades thrown to the sides of the tents. That woke us up. Every time I saw a face sticking out of a tent, the expression told me, if you think we're getting promoted on this, you're in fucking trouble. So the Ipswich squad didn't buy into the whole para thing, the whole marching.
I don't think he bought into it himself.
No.
By the sounds of things, I think he did it almost on a whim, and then as soon as it was happening, he thought, this is shit.
He'd probably picked up a copy of Loaded magazine. He'd read one of them features, like 10 of the craziest managers of all time. And it had been like when Jock Wallace used to have that, The Hill. He used to make the Rangers players run up and down, and then he had it rebuilt when he went to Leicester.
Yeah, he got sand. And then there was, what's his name, Beck at Cambridge, who'd like...
He'd piss in their tea, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and he'd like get out the fucking riot hoses and attack them in the changing room. And he thought, maybe we'll go in for a bit of that. He was like Kato
from the Pink Panther films, wasn't he?
The thing is, team building, bonding, it's all bollocks. When I was the editor of a magazine, I sort of said, someone said you better do something with the team
because if you don't, shit.
if you don't do fun things with them once in a while, then there's no team spirit. But it's bollocks because it's sort of like, listen, this is a fucking job of work. You come in, you do your job, which by the way is fucking easy because you work on a magazine, and
You're
then
just playing at being having a job.
Exactly, and then at the end of the day you go home and that's it. And if you say, well, we can't really be expected to do this unless once in a while the boss takes us out on an adventure.
Sometimes you get to go to nice free parties and go to see the cinema for free.
You get it all free anyway. You get sent every single day in your office. You get sent free stuff.
You get to meet famous people.
I used to say to them, listen, right, you come in every day, you wear whatever you want to work. That's the first thing. Most people don't get to wear what they want to work.
Exactly.
You turn up, some of you fucking turn up in what looks like your fucking pyjamas. You turn up and you have pop music really loudly on the radio all day while you do your job, which is just making things up.
It's a sixth form common room, isn't it?
Right. So that's your fun. Your team bonding experience is just fucking having this job and coming in here every day.
Yeah.
But in the end, I bowed to pressure and I went, all right, fuck it. And I couldn't think of anything good, like an army assault course, which I fucking should have done. I went, get a coach and we'll all go to fucking Brighton and get pissed on the pier. So we get down there, it's freezing cold, it's raining. We're all sat round a fucking table on the beachfront. I'm nursing a pint of beer, but you know when it's really cold, you're not really feeling it.
Yeah.
Your body's cold and you're clutching a cold beer.
Yeah.
And it's starting to lightly spit. And the skies are all grey and cloudy. And you look at each other, and I thought, if you think you're getting promoted on this, then you're in trouble. I thought, no one wants the fucking beer. We'd be better off at fucking work. Any team bonding experience out the office is fucking awful. Don't do it. Whether it's killing a pig or going on the piss in Brighton, it's a waste of time.
So when we are inevitably the joint editors of Waitrose magazine in a few weeks' time, that's something that we're not going to be doing.
First thing we'll announce to the team, the ones who are lucky enough to survive, our cull, which will happen.
Isn't it? Yeah.
We'll go first
Are you a
things
vegan?
first. Forget any fucking team bonding exercise whatsoever.
Yeah. This is it. This is the team bonding.
This is it right fucking now.
You're on the Waitrose magazine.
What I
the best
tend
job
to
in
do
publishing.
is when I enter any organisation, the team talk I usually do at the beginning is basically an exact reenactment of that one that she does at the beginning of Fame.
Oh yeah,
with the big stick.
Yeah,
right here's where you start paying. Bang in sweat. Seems to go down well.
I usually go up and punch the biggest lad.
Yeah,
on day one because that just sets a market down, doesn't it? So Roy Keane, the family had moved down with me and we rented a house. I liked it. I liked the sea air, but we moved house 3 times in the first year. Fucking hell. So he's gone from a situation where he was living quite happily by himself without the family.
Yeah.
In student digs in Durham with Sebastian and Julian. Indulging themselves in paint thinner and white spirit and the back catalogue of Radiohead. And now he's living with a family and he can't settle. They've moved 3 times in a year. Now, what does that tell us?
He should have taken them on the military bonding session.
Possibly, I don't know.
He's not happy with his family. He was happier with Sebastian and Julian in the digs.
Yeah.
Because it's a simple life. We know back in Cork he's got his spider hole, which is very austere and bare.
He summers in the spider hole, doesn't he?
And anything beyond that, as far as he's willing to go, is student digs. Scruffy, run-down student gigs. I don't think he feels comfortable in any sort of living arrangement that is in the least bit modern or extravagant or comfortable.
Yeah, I reckon you're right. So he says we moved house 3 times in the first year. It was unsettling, but we were trying to find the right village. And this is quite telling. And villages can be funny old places. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what that means, but he might have uncovered some stuff.
He doesn't elaborate at all.
No, he might have uncovered some stuff in the villages that were, not to his liking. He might have uncovered some kind of undercover schemes that were going on, sex cults.
I'm not happy with this village. There's something going on in this village.
There's something going on in this village.
And I don't fucking like it.
I don't know what it is.
It was a vibe. As soon as I walked into the place, I fucking knew. The people were odd. Let's just leave it at that.
It was incredibly quiet at night. There were no discotheques.
I don't like going to discotheques, but I like to know there's one there.
I always like to know if I need a late night discotheque, I can call in on one. Have a little bit of a boogie.
I like to hear them. I like to see the young lassies going back and forth, back and forth.
There was no arcades. There was no dancing machines like there was at Weatherby Services.
I was miles from the nearest services.
I was getting itchy.
And all there was a fucking spa and a toilet that you needed a key for. It was pointless.
It was dead. We packed everything up and moved on to the next village. We did this 3 times. It was a little bit like in MASH, when they used to decamp and pack everything up and move along. I saw myself as a little bit like Hawkeye, a quick-witted surgeon who enjoyed brewing his own gin.
Who everyone liked.
Everyone thought he was great.
Say what you like about me, but anywhere I've ever played or managed, I've been easily the most popular individual in the whole organisation.
No one has ever said otherwise. I think that's about enough for this episode.
I think we've got through at least 2 of our points.
We have, yeah. We've got probably one more episode out of this, but
we'll do. Yeah, the next one we'll find out how he comes to leave Ipswich, although that much is becoming apparent already.
The next episode includes a culture clash with the public school educated chief executive. It includes 2 incidents which involve physical violence. It includes traces of explosive residue on the handle of his bag during a trip to Nigeria, and a run-in with Adrian Childs. And that should be the final episode, I think. This has been the Keane Odyssey Part 5. Part 6 will be along next week or something. Thanks for indulging us and staying with it.
And remember to tune in on Friday for our look ahead to the weekend's action.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.